Good morning, everyone. Well, well, at least in Scotland, it's morning. Yeah. So if it's a different time where you are, I apologize. Welcome to a Zoom, uh, like a fireside chat with Leon Siegel from Germany. Um, I'd like to introduce our speaker, and and then we can have a chat. Leon is 33 years old from Germany. He has been stuttering severely from childhood onwards and had no success with traditional speech therapy programs, fluency shaping, Van Riper, etc., as well as psychiatric medicines, medications. Leon studied maths and worked as a mathematician for a few years, but couldn't continue at some point because of severe depression and suicidality. At a very low point, he had a spiritual awakening experience that turned his life completely upside down. Leon began to really confront his issues with stuttering, face the underlying fears, and fix his relationships. This was 5 years ago, and the stuttering improved a lot since, but it's still there. After healing work with meditation, and ayahuasca ceremonies, Leon started studying speech therapy and now works as a therapist for stuttering children. Leon finds that stuttering can be used as an awakening force. If you open to it, it can help you expand your consciousness and live a happier and more mindful life. With that introduction, I want to give my own intro to Leon as well. I came across one of his videos by accident, and I was entranced. It's completely hooked. The concept of being mindful and present. Um, and I thought that was really life changing. Stuttering, from my experience, is worsened when you're not only grappling with your own thoughts, but worrying about what others are saying, and worrying what will happen if I block in the next 10 seconds or next 20 seconds. And then thinking about the past times you blocked. It's just a mess. And I think Leon has really clarified a lot of things for me. And I'm really hooked onto his videos. So I'm honored that Leon is here. You could have easily ignored me, but you didn't, and you can easily be somewhere else, but you're here. So please accept my gratitude from the bottom of my heart. Leon, uh, let's start off with, could you tell us a bit about yourself, just as an opener?
Uh, yeah, sure. So thanks for your kind words, Andy. Um, yeah, so I've I've been stuttering basically all my life, and it's been difficult for all the time, and it continues to be difficult because it's always kind of felt like a glass wall of here am I, here is the outside world, and this stuttering kind of acted as a as a wall, and it's been difficult to deal with it. But throughout my life, I came to open to it more and to to see a couple of hidden gifts in it as well. Um, yeah, and also like stuff about me personally, I guess. I've always loved mathematics. I I studied it and then worked a couple of years in a startup for AI England and at a computer science institute. I love to play the piano, to do sports like yoga and surfing, and yeah, I'm kind of nervous now, so it could take a bit of time till I open up.
Yes, likewise. Every situation is different, um, and and we just need to adapt. Um, yeah, there's more people here than I expected, which is great.
Yes,
So rather than me just firing off questions, I would like this to be a discussion with everyone. So rather than you guys being audience, if you can be participants, and does anyone have anything to ask Leon? Just to start off, just to warm things over, and just put your hand up or just say hi. Anyone?
Hello, Leon. I'm Olga. I'm from
okay.
Liverpool. Hi. I have experience with psychedelics, so I'm just wondering what was your experience and what did you learn? Thank you.
Yeah, so I've listened to a couple of videos on psychedelics at age 19, maybe, and I got totally scared, and I thought I'm never gonna do it. It, it sounds kind of cool, but I'm never gonna do it. But it stayed in my mind, and it it came back to me. I had a good point in my life where I could dare to do it and could um, let go of control and just open up to it. So I've come come across Paul's Stamets story, who stuttered for all of his life, and then took a doses of magic mushrooms, and 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 boom, it was all gone all at once, which was kind of nice and tempting. But it it didn't help me as deeply as it helped Paul Stamets. It did help me though, to really heal my relationship to my parents, which I totally didn't expect. But it opened up like deep childhood wounds, and I could heal them with the help of mostly ayahuasca and magic mushrooms, because it just took me to deeper places and deeper unconscious realms than I could get to, compared to just meditation or yoga. Yeah, it definitely came at the right time of just like complete despair, no plan in life, no job, no money, and I just needed a drastic change, and it was given through a retreat in Peru.
Yeah. Uh, I think it's absolutely fantastic, inspirational that that you're here and you're so comfortable, confident, at peace, and at presence with yourself, even though you're having visible stutters. And I think it's absolutely fantastic. I don't see any forcing. I don't see any desire to escape. You're accepting of the moment as it is, and I think this is what I'm working towards as well, trying to work towards. And I think it's fantastic. This is the way, this is the way forward. And rather than trying to be something we're not, trying to take a part of us out, saying this is bad, I don't like it, but I don't get that from you. From you, I feel peace.
Thank you.
Does anyone have another kind of question for Leon?
Yes, Hassan, can I ask
Yes.
something?
Go, John.
Hi. Hello, Leon. I wanted to ask you, what treatments or programs have you done in the past that's maybe been the most effective? Because personally, I was someone that had quite a severe stammer, and I went on the Lee Lovett program. I don't know if you're aware of it.
No, I'm not actually.
And like what happened was that I came across his book on Amazon, and like it promised a cure. Well, of course, I was quite skeptical, but then I ordered the book, I read it, and like a number of things in the book really stood out to me. So to cut a long story short, I joined like the program, and the author of the book, Lee Lovett, I had a number of Skype sessions with him, and that helped tremendously. And it probably took me about maybe less than a year until I could come to a point and say I've effectively stopped stuttering. I don't like to use the word cure because, like, even today, very, very seldom I may come across a word, and even though I don't stammer, I like use a number of the techniques in the book to get me out of a potentially tricky spot. So, and like the good thing about this program for me is that, or for anybody, is it doesn't matter the severity of stammering. If it's someone that's very mild, or in my case, someone that was quite severe, that is totally immaterial with the severity. So, I mean, I think that maybe what you could maybe think about, Leon, is even to order the book and to take it from there, because there is a few things in it I think could really benefit you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. I didn't come across it yet, but thanks. I'm gonna Google it and see.
So I'll just type in the name right. So let's see. So
Yeah.
like if you go into Amazon,
Maybe. Lee love it. Okay.
so like if you go into Amazon or even do a Google search on the name, you'll come across this book. I'm sure it's called How to Stop Stuttering and Love Speaking.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, that's I've read the book and it's good. It's really good. Okay. I have a follow-up question from John actually. You know this whole this whole idea of stopping something. The question I've got is why would we want to stop it? I mean this is going quite deep. I mean, why would we want to stop stuttering?
Hmm.
I'm kind of being devil's advocate here. Why?
Okay, is that question for me, son?
And no, it's for Leon or anyone actually.
Okay, I can try to answer it.
Or why would we not want to stop stuttering? Or why would we not care about stuttering?
Okay, I guess it's about like the egoic desire of just being at peace, being happy, or getting the stuff the ego likes, which definitely includes fluent speaking. But there's also a deeper deeper flow of life that just asks us to come to terms with the stuff that's here right now. And the deeper freedom, I guess, is to come to terms with what is here than just to have the stuff that you think is gonna make you feel good. And I'm just more generally going towards this I believe deeper freedom of just merging with the here and now rather than controlling it and yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, no, that is a good answer. That is a good answer, because society's society's expectations is, you know, looking the way society wants us to look, wearing the clothes they want us to look, talking the way they want us to talk. Not everyone does talk in the same way, and it's amazing. Not everyone has the same handwriting, and not everyone walks the same way. And I think the deeper question is perhaps, just if you disagree with me, Leon, please let me know, and also anyone else who disagrees with me. The question is, are you happy with yourself? Yeah. Do you feel that you're not you? I mean, we, anyone, are we happy with ourselves? You know, the only person we need to please is Leon, John, Paul, Olga, Kaz, etc. Am I making sense? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess yes. I am happy with who I am and comfortable. That doesn't mean I'm not discontent at times, of course. Like I've had difficult stuff come up, and I still do. And like I often think that life um could be a bit easier and still nice and meaningful. But yeah, mostly I'm comfortable with who I am, and I've noticed that in those times I'm not I'm not I'm not not happy with who I am. I'm often just disconnected from my higher self and my inner peace, and I'm chasing external stuff to make me happy, but mostly this this stuff I need is here. I just need to connect to it and to really see it.
I've always felt in the past, or sometimes now even, is that when I'm talking to someone and I'm feeling stuttery and etc., and if I feel that the other person is getting impatient or waiting, then I try and speed up, and then I block up completely. So I think what you've said is that if you're happy with yourself, at peace with yourself, if the other person doesn't want to wait, know that they're free to move on. But you know, you're still in your own space and your own energy. And I think that's so important.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any comments or a question? Paul?
I'll just turn on
Yeah,
my
I would-
sound.
Yeah.
Okay. Slightly different direction, but if it's okay. When you were giving the introduction, Asan, you mentioned that Leon said about stuttering has some positive aspects to it too. So I'd like to ask you, Leon, a couple of related questions. The first one is, why do you think people stutter? And the second one, yes, well, what are these positive aspects that stuttering potentially can bring or may have?
Okay, yeah, it's a good question, Paul. Thank you. So I do believe that stuttering is a kind of manifestation of some kind of protective purpose that's trying to limit us and to contain us, but to also like and encourage us to look beyond it, and it can help to connect to deeper states of consciousness if you manage to let go of controlling it and to just flow with it. So it took away much of my egoic tendencies by just by just breaking my defense mechanisms and opening me up, because stuttering can make you really vulnerable and make it thus easier to connect to people, or to close down completely. So it's basically a choice of opening up and connecting and confronting, or just closing down and being lonely and stopping to talk. So it's yeah, it does make life more intense, and I believe deeper too, and it can help you form deeper relationships to other people and to yourself.
Does that answer your question, Paul?
Yes, well, partially. So that's the positive aspects. The other half of it was, from your perspective, what is stuttering? How would you describe it or define it?
What is stuttering? It's basically it's an illusion, kind of, because almost all stuttering people can just speak totally fluently in particular situations, and we just don't know how to do it at will. So the sub conscious mind knows how to speak perfectly fluently, but the conscious eye can't do it. Which means we've got to bridge the gap of the conscious and the unconscious mind, and yeah, connect to these deeper states of consciousness to heal it. It's basically not really there, but it can still impact us deeply. So just daring to look deep enough and be really conscious of how it's all going down is the way to heal it, or at least to come to terms with it, I believe.
Right, thank you. Okay, yes.
I think that was a really good question from Paul, and equally good answer from Leon. I think Kaz wanted to ask something, yeah? Am I right? I think, yeah, you had a question.
Yeah. I kind of want to add something where you said, are you happy where you are? I would say I'm getting there, but I'm not 100% happy because I still got a little bit further to go to stay fluent. Because I still struggle in like high pressure situations when you like out with friends at the dinner at a really large environment. So I try to push myself out there at my comfort zone because I feel like the more I put myself out there, the more I can overcome this rather than shy away like at home and try to hide yourself. So yeah, at the moment I'm trying to put myself out there, like even though I have like bad social anxiety when I go out. And sometimes I'll find that I do stutter more because I'm putting myself out there. Um so so the last couple of days I have like those couple of social events and I couldn't control my space because I was really nervous and stressed. So like yes, I wanted to ask Leo, do you feel like you are worse in social situations in terms of the speech, or do you feel like you start less uh when you're at home or with your friends?
That depends on my state at the given time, and it's kind of random. It's difficult to predict, and I couldn't tell you the pattern of how it works. So yeah, it's normally more difficult for me to talk to strangers, but I've got times where it can be really easy too, and where talking to my parents can be more difficult. And I guess it's important to enter social situations, but to not overdo it, to like not constantly re dramatize your stuttering self, and to also take times of just being being silent. Yeah. Because not talking can be even more healing for stutterers than talking. I think it's all about what you need on a given day, and to not push yourself too hard. I think because I tend to do that, just like push and push and push and until I can't keep going. So I've got to watch to not overdo it, but other people maybe maybe different and need to push a bit harder to really get 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 talking more.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I tend to push myself hard, like in a lot of those situations. And I just want to say, Leo, I really admire your courage um to to come um to come to the sessions. Like especially, you know, as as a person that just to start out, like if it was me, like I would have the courage to come on and speak to Asan. So I just want to admire your courage and your yeah to come on to speak.
Thank you, Cass. Thanks.
That was another great question. The way I look at stuttering is, which you may already know, is stuttering is a mind-body syndrome. That's the philosophy which I adhere to. And I was watching a video yesterday about the mind-body syndrome, and the video is called something like, I don't know the words, but it's not stuttering, the speech block and freezing is a symptom of something. So the title of the video was you know move through it while it moves through you.
Hmm.
And I really liked that video.
Yeah.
So yeah, just thought I'd mention that. And I know I mentioned at the start, and you said as well, that why stop stuttering, etc. Why stop? However, there are situations where we have to talk, say something, maybe speak to a bank on the phone, or say something, give information, and we just can't get a word out. Is there any techniques that you use?
Yeah, so some times I just slow down like really much, and I can do it a couple of minutes to get through difficult talking situations, but it stops working after a couple of minutes, and it's a bit in in or authentic, and I don't do it often, but yeah. If I have to, I just slow down, and yeah, it's gonna get a little bit easier for at least some time.
I actually feel that techniques only work in kind of low level situation when it's real real high pressure. The techniques just cannot overcome a physical block. But the only technique which I swear by, and the only one I would ever use if needed, like a relief, is something called the jump. And I think that's the best technique best technique for me, hands down, hands down. I know I want to ask Paul if I can just explain. Is that okay?
Sure, yes, I'd love to hear your explanation.
Um, I had a lot of problems with S sounds, F sounds all the time. And for example, if I'm saying the word say a random S word is this. Okay, I'm having a block just now, which is amazing, excellent, fantastic. The word which comes to mind is satisfaction. Okay, satisfaction, and my explanation may be completely rubbish. So if it's wrong, please let me know, Paul. So when you're going to say the word satisfaction, you say what you can, so you can probably get to it, but you can't move on to satisfaction. So what jump does is you say the sound once, and then you don't go back to that sound, because we have a tendency of trying to keep on saying the same thing again. So satisfaction. So you kind of jump the sound, and 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 that's been a lifesaver for me. In situations where I have to say a certain word, for example, if I'm given a phone number which contains sixes and sevens, it's pretty good. Is that a good explanation, Paul, of the jump, or not?
Yes, well, pretty much, yeah. I mean, the key thing, like you said, is say what you can, and don't feel like you have to keep going back and trying again and again, because I think what's often the case when people get stuck is that, say you've got a phrase of maybe 8 or 10 words you want to say, and there's just one word or even just one sound that you can't say, and yet you feel that you're not allowed to move on until you've actually said that sound. And so we keep on saying that sound, when actually if we just jumped over that and carried on with the rest of it, the listener can often just guess what that sound was anyway, and then there's no need to say it. So yeah, that's the sort of idea. Quite interestingly, who was it? John mentioned Lee Lovett. So he has a somewhat similar technique, which is just missing off the first sound. It's not exactly the same. There's some subtle differences. But nevertheless, even simply missing off the first sound of words can help to an extent. But also, I think, like you said yourself, Asan, nothing works all the time. So any technique, it works, especially when it's new. But when you start using it all of the time, it may not work. It's a sort of novelty effect, that anything that's new seems to just make us fluent temporarily. And that was an interesting thing. I remember going back to Lee Lovett again, actually, his crutches. One of the things he suggested is don't stick with the same crutch, because if you do, it'll stop working. And I was quite impressed by that, because I'd never really thought about it before in the same way. But he suggests having a pile of different crutches and regularly switching from one to a different one. So they're always feeling a bit new, a bit novel. And I can see the logic behind that. But yeah, let's get back to Leon. Sorry, I shall stop there.
Of course. We haven't heard from Olga, and so I'm not putting you on the spot, Olga. If I am, apologize. But do you have anything to ask Leon, or any comments?
Any comments on what? Sorry,
On
my daughter was here and I
of course.
missed.
Any comments on Leon's philosophy about being
Philosophy, I think, well, if he's happy with the way he lives, then everything, I guess, is fine. But for me personally, when people talk about how beautiful stuttering is, I get a bit nervous. I get nervous. I think, like, how can any problem, be beautiful? If you have any kind of problem, you just want it to go. You don't want it, you don't want to call it beautiful. There is no. It's like, people try to lie to themselves. Because okay, there's nothing can be done about it, so let's call it beautiful then. Well, if it works for you, then Okay, but it didn't work for me, that one. It didn't work for me. I had to do something about it. So I went all the way just to eliminate it, just to get it out. There was no way for me to call it beautiful because my life was extremely difficult and challenging because of my stuttering. So for me, there is no, well, I tried to lie to myself as well for 6 years. It didn't work. It really didn't work. I was waiting, like maybe one day my stuttering will just go on its own. Didn't work. I tried to blame my parents, like, oh, my parents gave me my stuttering, blah, blah, blah. It didn't work. So nothing worked. I had to do something about it and I had to take responsibility. So when I hear conversations, how beautiful stuttering is, yeah, as I say, I get nervous and a little bit kind of angry as well. I said, there's no beauty in that, no. So I do keep quiet because once I start, it's no end to my comments.
Yeah, I was getting concerned because you're not usually quiet. So
Yeah,
I wonder
I'm
why
just
is it
thinking like, oh, they're
like
trying to say it's beautiful. Oh my God.
anyone said it's beautiful, but the other question is it a problem? Is it only a problem if you make it a problem in your head?
Yeah, I wholeheartedly believe that stuttering is a problem that is created in your mind. And once you change how your mind works, once you change your thoughts, your beliefs, your perceptions, this problem will gradually stop bothering you until eventually you just wake up one day and you think, oh, I have to make a phone call. No big deal. I'll just dial and there's no need to rehearse. There's no need to prepare. There is no need to do any breathing exercises or anything. You just, take the phone, just dial and no big deal. But if your thinking at the moment is kind of incorrect, then yes, you will rehearse, you will worry, you will think about it. Everything is in the mind. This is what we need to work with. If you don't change your mind, then everything stays the same. But I guess it's a personal choice of every single person.
We will have another discussion about this.
Yeah, sure.
Another time. I'm gonna go back to Leon now. As this
Hassan, can I quickly say something? I take a little bit of issue, Olga, with what you said about there's nothing that can be done for like stammering. Well, that's not the case with me. I mean, like I've tried lots and lots of different things like to stop stuttering. And the book that I read with Lee Lovett was the only thing that effectively stopped me stuttering. And I mean, like I'm in a work environment, I work in construction, and like I work with about 50, 60 different guys every single day. And I don't have one problem whatsoever. And even speaking to strangers, people that I meet for the first time, I have no problems because I attribute that to like the techniques in the program, the book that I read of the Lee Lovett. And I mean, like my speeches came so far that I'm even one of the hosts of one of the practice groups. And I mean, like speaking of someone like Leon, who's pretty severe. I mean, I've had a few people that come on to my practice group on a Monday that are similar to Leon, and the progress that they've made with their speech in a relatively short space of time has been fantastic. Because the more you practice the techniques, it builds up these kind of fluency memories. And I mean, like, okay, I admit the program won't work for everybody, but I think it works for the vast majority of people. And that's just my own opinion. Of
Yeah,
course, I mean, we're all different.
sorry, can I just make a little comment about Lee Lovitz? All those techniques that you use, it's actually not the techniques that help. It what those techniques make you feel and how they make you change. This is what helps. It's not the technique itself.
Right.
It how it helps you to change. So it's you changed and your speech changed. So it's not the technique in the end, if we look at
Right, okay, well, I mean,
everything.
the only thing that I can say about that, and this is for me personally, is that I've changed for the better. I mean,
So
my speech was pretty severe, and like since I read the book, I feel so much better about myself. My karma has completely changed. I was unhappy. I was miserable. I felt I couldn't function properly, and so that's not the case now. But that's just me, of course. But all different.
that's what changed. So you had to become somebody else so that your speech is now
Yeah.
you opened up
Okay.
your flow
just-
because you
Can I
changed as a
just
person. Absolutely.
Uh,
Well,
Bravo.
yes, fine. Okay.
Excellent.
John, I'd like to say you're right now. You sound great, and I have a lot of respect for you, admiration and love as well. But
Likewise, this one.
but on conversely, if you sounded differently, if you and I would still feel the same love for you and admiration. So um, it's not speech which makes me admire someone who they are, and I think you're a very sincere human being.
Yes, thanks, this one.
Yeah, yes, Paul.
I have a question for Leon. I'd love to know what he thinks of this. So many years ago, a guy called Wendell Johnson, researcher, I'm sure Leon knows all about him. He said, stuttering is what we do when we try not to stutter. And that saying sort of fascinated me for years. I was into Zen when I first heard it, and it sounded like a koan to me, a koan or whatever they're called. Leon, do you agree with that? And if you do, then what are its implications?
Okay, that's an interesting. Thought, and I heard it before, and I believe it's mostly correct. Yeah, because when we when a stutterer talks just to a kid or to an animal, they normally don't stutter because they don't care. It's just the image of the of the of the listener that makes people stutter, and also like trying not to stutter. I believe that's true, and this of course leads to this this trying to not try to not stutter, which is not helpful because it's just a deeper layer of trying. So I've been through many ways of trying to not stutter, and none of them have worked. And also can I comment on Olga and John? So I appreciate your honesty, and I just like to add that I'm not saying that stuttering is only nice and only beautiful, but that it's a way of living to to, to just be present with what's going on at the time, and to not fight against it, and also that people are always gonna have problems. Like sure, stuttering can go away. You can be free of stuttering, but you're gonna get, I don't know, pimples or fat or stuff like that, and you're gonna come to the end of your ability to solve them at a certain point, and it's a deeper freedom to be free of the desire to heal your issues than to be free of a particular issue. And I'm still not totally there, not totally understanding what this means. But I'd much rather be free of the desire to change my life than be free of changing a particular condition in my life. Yeah, just as a comment to what you said.
No, that is an excellent answer. You made some good points. Leon, can I add something? Would you agree, right? For people who stutter, I mean, it is a real problem. I know there's people say this in the mind, the psychological, but there's something there, and I can say there's something there because as part of my work, I have to record instructions for staff members. I've got to record letters. It's known as dictation. I'm sitting in a room alone. When I'm sitting alone, usually I don't stutter, but when I'm dictating, I feel this stutter is coming on. So I try to move through it while it's moving through me. So I actually feel there's something is triggering something neurological. I feel that. So my conclusion is that stuttering is inevitable. Inevitable. So if I try and convince myself that I am now fluent, then when I feel the stutters coming on, there's a cognitive dissonance within me, and the tension and stress of not wanting to be there can create, I don't know, just a complete speech blockage. Rather than, for example, rather than stuttering, I want to read out a message I got on a WhatsApp group I'm on, which is called Stuttering as a TMS, which is TMS. It's like a mind body syndrome. So I won't mention the guy's name. He said that I was talking about this with another stutterer in another group yesterday. Most people first start with repetition stuttering. Then once they realize the way they talk is being made fun of, we start to think speaking altogether is an unsafe thing to do. So we develop a twitch habit like a block, which stops us from speaking to keep us safe. And it's like the block that we develop is the nervous system trying to keep us safe. But in reality, it's doing more harm than good because it thinks speaking is unsafe when it's perfectly safe. And also we think about what we want to say because it makes sense for us to look ahead and see where we might try and avoid stuttering. Is my question making sense? I mean, is it better to deal with the stuttering, shaking voice and rather than having to face massive tension and blocking, and then am I talking rubbish?
Um, 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 can you repeat the
Yeah,
question? I don't
I'll
quite know what you're.
I'll simplify the question.
Yeah.
Is it better to accept this neurological deficiency that we may or may not have, this stuttering voice, this stuttering, shaking voice that we have, repetitions, okay, repetitions,
Yeah.
disfluencies, rather than resist it and face the full-fledged stuttering, what they call the real face of stuttering.
Yeah. I guess it's better to just let the repetitions and the disfluencies happen the way they want to happen, because it's gonna allow you to be at peace even when you stutter. Like it can be a big deal to be at peace in the state that scares you most, because if you can be at peace in states of fear and stress and uncertainty, it's gonna be a lot easier to stay calm in general, and to really be in a stuttering block and not to want to get out. It's a massive opener to peace and to power as well, because it's gonna make it a lot easier to to accept like little discomforts in life, because you know it can get a lot harder, and you're still okay. So I'm resisting stuttering, I believe is not a good idea. But of course it can be different for different people. Like I wouldn't teach a kid these kinds of things. With kids, it's just good to heal it completely now, get past it, and kids don't need to learn from it or to like become more mindful because of it. But if it comes to a certain point of difficulty and impediment, I believe it can be good to just let it happen, like all of it, all of life, and to take stuttering as an entry point to this kind of living. Don't know if that answers your question, but I hope it does.
It does actually, it does. So essentially, what you resist persists. And interesting that you mentioned children. Any child I've seen stuttering is of a different quality from adults stuttering. It's much freer stuttering, isn't it?
Mm.
But with adults, I've seen really severe people. I've seen really severe people, and you can tell they are so in their heads. There was so much baggage. They're so concerned about what listeners are thinking. They're concerned about what happened 10 years ago. And it's a heavy load to carry, isn't it? And yeah, I think we're just over the hour mark. Does anyone have any final closing questions or comments to Leon? All right. Okay. Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. Sorry, I thought Olga had something, but okay, that's fine. On behalf of everyone, I want to say thank you to Leon. Also, thank you to Paul, John, Olga, and Kaz for taking their time and having this discussion. I mean, this is actually a very good discussion. This is probably the first discussion that I've hosted, in which there have been disagreements, and I think that's fantastic. Because when we have debate, we think, and then we learn. And if we just keep on patting each other on the back, we're not learning anything. So I want to say thank you to everyone for participating in this discussion. I think I should call this a debate and not a discussion. I think we should do that. So I'm gonna close off now. I'm going to just close recording, but don't go just now because I want to say something in private. All right. So I'm going to stop recording now, and yeah, this is the end of the session.